Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Coaching Call podcast. On this podcast, we'll cover various types of coaching by trainers in sports, martial arts, fitness, and business. We'll discuss each coach's methods to getting the most out of their respective athletes or clients and how they attempt to change the platform in which they coach. Join us on a fun adventure as we discuss unique coaching styles. Coaching is a universal part of how we get others to get something done. Join your host, Raphael, and his guests on this unique journey in coaching.
Hi, I'm Sifu Raphael, and this is the Coaching Call podcast. If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. This episode was made possible by listeners like you. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me on Coaching Call. How are you today?
Doing awesome, man. It's so good to be here. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, likewise. Wow, we're going to talk about something that I think we're both very passionate about, and that's connecting business and masterminds, right?
Absolutely. There's so much that we get to do. And I know so many people in your community are in the coaching space as well. So much that we get to do as coaches that unfortunately is so limited by how many hours we have in the day. And figuring out a way to not go all just e-course on things, but to actually be with real people and have a scalable impact is such a hard thing to find, right?
It is. And you're right. I try to get 35 hours out of my day every day.
It's a tight squeeze with 35 hours. It really is.
So sometimes it's tough. I had a podcast this morning. A show that I do every Tuesday at 4:30 a.m. So I was up by like 3 something,
Oh my gosh.
But I love it. I'm just driven by knowledge and the amazing people I get to talk to, such as yourself. I'm looking at your bio and I'm like, wow, this guy loves adventure. And I love that about you. You have 5 kids and, for most people, they do 1, 2, maybe 3. And I think the real adventure is when you get to the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, right?
Yeah, we were like, I guess it's kind of funny. 2 of our 5 were surprises, and we're so glad that they were.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because you have a kid and you're like, okay, here we go. We're doing this. Like, roll in. And then the second one comes along. You're like, okay, we can handle this. There's 2 of us. There's 2 of them. We got this. And then the third one shows up and you're like, what the heck? Like, we're outnumbered. We're zone defense now. I don't know how to play this game. And you just kind of throw it all out the door and just start going. And then life gets really fun. You just got to chill out and let it happen.
I hear you. I've always said this, and I didn't understand it till I was old enough. But I think that kids are a gift to make parents become parents, right? Because we had no idea. Those kids did not come with instructions, right? So they teach us through all their follies and fun things on how we become parents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I think that our kids have made me an adult. That's for sure. Like, I didn't have to get out of my own way. And boy, there's so many parallels to coaching and business and entrepreneurship. Like, it's like you don't really become an entrepreneur or a coach or whatever until you get more clients than you can handle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the pressure of that turns you into not just someone who's doing some services and collecting some checks, but like turns you into an entrepreneur. I think it's the same way with kids, that it's the pressure. Coaching from a training standpoint, a physical training standpoint, same way. When you finally take on an event, a contest, an adventure, whatever, that's bigger than you, and all of a sudden you have to get good coaching, you have to take deliberate action, and you have to start making changes on your own life. That's when it gets real, and that's when scale and like big multiplication things start happening.
Oh, without a doubt. One of the things that I was reading on you is also you do shark diving and ice climbing, and so what propelled you to even get in the water with sharks who look at you as yummy?
The 2 things shark diving and ice climbing have in common. I'm thinking this right now. I'm just realizing, what do those 2 things even have in common besides just adventures? They're both cold. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Both of them are cold. But apart from that, I'm cold right now today. Apart from that, I I really love, I guess I want to find a core theme here. If I could think of this in the adventure side, I like adventure sports, and I'm kind of a control freak. And I wish I wasn't, because I don't think that's a really positive thing to say about myself, but I
Mm,
think it's true. But what I love about that is when you're in spaces that are bigger than you, and sharks and mountains are that way.
right.
Mountains are predictable in the sense that you know what's up and what's down. And in the summertime, hiking is very predictable. Honestly, rock climbing is very predictable. But when it gets to alpine work in the ice and snow, a lot of predictability goes out the door, and you have to be very, very prepared. And I like having to prepare myself physically and mentally for a challenge where there's still variables involved to be as safe as possible. But honestly, dude, the shark diving stuff, I am never as nervous about anything as I am when I'm in deep water.
Mm,
Because, like, I got a picture I pulled up on my screen, but I know this is not that kind of show. We were out a few years ago with some sharks. We were in 3,500 feet of
wow.
water in the Central Pacific. There's just so much water down there.
Mm,
It's so much water. And you're living in a three-dimensional space, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, that you're not used to as a human being firmly planted on the ground. And it's unnerving. And those creatures are so prehistoric and so gorgeous. But dude, they don't read. Sharks don't read your body language like you and I do,
mhm,
or your neighbor's dog, who, they might approach you aggressively, but you can kind of mess with their brains a little bit. The shark is like literally reading your nervous system. It's
mm,
feeling the pulses from your heart and your mind.
right.
And that stuff is pretty powerful, because it means I don't just got to show up and be like, "Can I see the sharks?" It's, I got to calm down. I got to breathe deeply and calm myself with scuba gear on, or what. Like, there's a lot there, and I love that challenge.
Mm,
And I love pushing myself past something where I know, I got to make my choices here, and I got to be part of a larger community on the planet, sharks included, where I'm in their space now, and I got to play their game. And I got to play it their way, and I got to understand that, and I can do this.
yeah, yeah. So how many times would you say you've actually gone in with sharks?
Okay, here's the fun fact about this. And I'm just gonna put it this way. The most recent time we were out diving was in just off of Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. And we hired a mako shark researcher. She'd been researching for 15 years.
Mm,
Um, and she was out doing research, and she had a National Geographic shark guard with
mm,
her. These are
wow,
the people who go down with the divers, like when you're watching these beautiful documentaries on, whatever, Disney Channel, whatever. And this is the person who's keeping the great whites or whatever away from the film crew while
really?
they're filming. Somebody's guarding that film crew.
Right.
So those are our two people.
Mm,
She said, we were asking her, like, it's so hard to, some days you're out there and you just can't find anything. And she said the interesting thing is, she said a third of the world's population is in the water, in the ocean.
mm,
And every year, a third of the world is in
wow,
the water at least once a year. Most of them more common than that, because we live on the coasts. A lot of people do, right?
right.
And she said, sharks are with you always.
Wow.
She's like, you're gonna see a shark every now and then. I was at the beach last week. We saw one shark. Last week we were with one shark that I know of. but
Right.
but we were on surfboards and paddleboards out deep a lot, and I only saw one. And yet she's like, they're seeing you constantly, which is another great coaching point here, folks. Let's just unpack that. Sharks, when you're in the ocean, you're being seen by sharks. Okay, even if you don't see them. It's like walking through the park. You might not see a squirrel today, but I promise the squirrels are seeing you. They're freaking sitting there looking at you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're not going to get shark attacked. It just is so rare
Mm,
compared to not just how often people see a shark and does a shark attack them. The sharks see us all the time, and they're not after us. It's so rare compared to the number of human sightings, not shark sightings,
right.
human sightings. Okay. In the entrepreneur coaching world, we have so many fears. I mean, you know this.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I wake up today with fears about all kinds of things as an entrepreneur, as a coach. That's just, it's put in us because we're constantly battling our own self-imposed worries, and we're battling things that are going on around us, like money and time. And is somebody in our competition market, is somebody better than us? Have I posted enough? Have I, whatever, all these things that we got to worry about. It's not as real as we think. Yeah, if you got bills to pay, bills are, you got to make money and you got to spend money. That's running a business. But the fears that we experience, we make those bigger than they usually really are, and we minimize the positive aspects.
Mhm.
And if something good happens in my day today, it's so unfortunate, but I make that a small thing. And I have a struggle celebrating that because I'm worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. What if it's not successful tomorrow? I've been doing this a long time. What if it's not going to be successful tomorrow? It's going to be successful tomorrow. I know that. It's going to be ups and downs. Yes, but I know that. But I focus on the negative because that's such a human trait. We've evolved that way. It's what's kept us alive through lots of, I guess, saber-toothed tiger attacks in the past.
Right, right.
But we have to learn to change our minds and focus on, okay, I know that sharks don't attack humans hardly ever. And
Mhm.
yet every time I go in the ocean, like I did 2 days ago, I can't help it. I walk in, I'm waist deep, finally kind of getting in the water. I got a surfboard in one hand, and I'm just like, I just look around, like looking around, like it's okay. I can do this. And I go
Yeah.
back out again. It's the same way with being an entrepreneurial coach. It's okay. You can do this. Your clients are out there. The fears that you have are so rarely going to happen to you or anybody else. Go surf the wave. Focus on the wave, find the wave, ride the wave.
Love it. Love it. And it is about riding the wave, not having the fear. Because and it's almost like anything, right? I know you do electric skateboards as well. I love it, man. So it's just a matter of just getting on, you know, and doing it without, and you know what? You're gonna fail, right?
Hmm.
And that's okay. And I love the way you bring it about the fact that it's gonna happen whether you do it or not, and it's better to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is that fear, and you are cautious, like you're gonna surf, you're gonna make, let me see if there's any sharks nearby, maybe I'll step out for a bit, but typically there aren't, right? And what winds up happening for so many people, it's that fear-based mentality that stops them from moving forward, from doing the things that they need to do. And I always ask this question, what's the cemetery full of?
Dead people.
Yes, but let's go deeper. Dead
Um,
dreams,
oh,
right?
yeah.
The fear that did not allow people to follow up on their dreams. And I always say dream big. One of the things I say is if you're going to do something, sometimes you got to go bigger than you, right? Let's say we're going to rob a bank, you and I. And do we want to go and rob a bank only and just
Folks,
get
this is
there?
recorded. I'm just saying this was not my idea. I'm
Right.
just
But you
sitting
know
in
what?
the back seat.
You're
I'm
my
not
accomplice. You're my
driving.
accomplice. And, would we rather, rob a bank and only take $100,000 or 100 million? What's the better plan?
If you're
You
gonna
know,
do the deal, go big or go home, right?
that's exactly what
With
I'm
any
saying.
venture. I mean, just go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
I love your adventure style, your thought process. So before we get into, the nitty-gritty of the amazing things that you are doing and the way you're affecting our communities and our world, what started you on this path? What age were you? When did you realize? And even who impacted you? Who was it that moment in time when you said, this is who I am. This is what I need to do with my life.
You know, I think I was a teenager when
Mm,
I caught the bug for being an entrepreneur and teaching.
mm,
And as someone who leads masterminds, so for those of you who don't know me, I lead high ticket masterminds and group. I teach people how to build group coaching programs and masterminds. I lead 2 of those, and I teach experts how to do that. Okay. So it's very entrepreneurial, and it's very much a teaching oriented job. I really like that. I think it's unfortunate that high school teachers and middle school teachers don't get paid more, because they're doing similar things that I'm doing. I just figured out a way to make more money at it. So here's the thing. I knew I was an entrepreneur early on. And for many of us as entrepreneurs, we know that. Like, when I was 11, I borrowed a neighbor's lawnmower so I could cut grass around the neighborhood. And I cut their grass for free for a whole summer in exchange for the lawnmower, so I could instantly get equipment and scale my operation. I didn't know what I was doing. I was freaking 11 years old. But
Nice.
I realized, oh my gosh, in a few years, I'm an entrepreneur. And then I hired a buddy down the street to push the lawnmower while I was weed eating and blowing. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I just hired a team member. And by the time I was 16 or 17, I had multiple crews going, multiple trucks, lots of equipment. And the thing I loved doing most was building structures and systems and processes for other people to follow and teaching them how to do it.
Nice.
And that's when I realized I like teaching.
Mhm.
So since then, I have followed an entrepreneurial path that allows me to be an entrepreneur, create, build, have the freedom I want, but also in a teaching way, because teaching is what really fulfills me, lets me impact more people, and scale the ventures I get into.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I love the fact that you were 11 and you had this thought of, I can mow their lawn and the neighbors and the other neighbors and the other one. And you found a way, right? The entrepreneurial way of getting the equipment for free, but you kind of paid with it with your labor.
Sure.
But you paid the price, and then it became something bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you realize, I love the fact that you realize that teaching someone else how to do something was your gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people don't realize their gifts, or they're afraid they're no good. They got that, that fear of, I'm no good. I can't do this. Who's going to listen to me? Right? That imposter syndrome.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, how can I do this? I'm no good, right? That's usually what stops people from moving forward, right?
It is. It scares us. It's the real thing, but it's the thing we have to overcome. That is the shark in the water. We all have our sharks. We can label them imposter syndrome or whatever it is for you each day. And back to the surfing sharking analogy. It's such a good one. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yes, sir.
When I'm a horrible surfer, just to be clear.
But you've been out there.
But I'm out there, right? In case anybody's wondering and going to go watch some YouTube reels of Chris surfing, there aren't any, because if I see somebody filming me surfing, I'm probably going to destroy their camera. Like, it's too embarrassing. But I paddle out there, and I think about the sharks while I'm hanging around, my arms hanging off this freaking board out there. But once you see the wave coming in behind you, and you're around, you're getting ready, you're paddling to get some speed up. All of a sudden, when it starts bubbling at your feet and curling over, and you're like, it's the moment, you forget about the sharks, and you forget about where you are, and everything is focused on riding that wave. And 9 times out of 10, I miss the wave. I'm just not a great surfer.
Gotcha.
But I love when I catch the wave, and it makes me want to go do it again.
The adrenaline, right?
Yes, it's such a great feeling when you catch that flow. But what happens is 10 times in a row, I'm forgetting about the sharks. 1 out of 10 times I actually catch the wave. But 10 times, every time, there are no sharks in my world when I'm surfing. Their sharks are there when I'm sitting around waiting for a wave.
Yeah.
And so the more I can be active and jump on a wave, the less the fear is there, and the more smiles are there.
That's right.
And we can all do that in our daily lives as entrepreneurs. Focus on the wave you're going to catch. Where's the opportunity, not where's the fear. If you're looking at the fear, you'll find it. If you're looking for the opportunity, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Focus on the one you want.
So I love the thought, and I'm thinking, you missed that wave. You missed it, but you tried, right? And you missed the wave. But that's it. When there's an opportunity that presents itself, and you don't take it, and sometimes you have to say, you know what? That's okay. I missed it. Guess what? There's another one right behind
Hmm.
it. And there's another one right behind it. So, sometimes people will say, you can't pass this up. And you have to think, is it really worth my time? Is it worth my effort to really jump on this opportunity? Because then you have to outweigh all the differences of the positives and the negatives, and then say, you know what, I'm going to let this one go, because by letting this one go, I'm saying no to this one. I'm going to say yes to a different opportunity. So you passed that wave, you weren't able to catch it, but then you were able to catch the good one, the one you rode on, and the one that made that smile bigger and bigger. And sometimes you are going to fall off that wave also, right?
Hmm. Yep, it's gonna happen. It's okay.
Yep, there's another one.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it. There's always another one. And you
Yeah.
learn the rhythm and you learn the patterns and you get better and better the more you stay out there in the water. I live in the middle of the United States. I don't have waves near me, so we have to
Oh,
travel. So I don't get a lot of time on waves. But within a few days, all of a sudden it comes back, And for us as
mhm.
entrepreneurs, because we have the internet right in front of us, we can
Right.
catch waves every day. We get to practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Chris, do me a favor when you get a chance, just in the private chat, put whatever link you want me to share with our audience, because I
Oh
think
yeah.
that most people, and definitely other coaches who are either beginners or have been in it a couple of years, are going to want to reach out to you, because you are doing something extraordinary. You're helping coaches create a bigger sphere, if you will, right? A bigger
Hmm.
opportunity. But if we stay doing the same thing, where are we doing? We're remaining the same, right? So it's that saying, is, if you remain the same, you're insane. You gotta change, you gotta adapt, you gotta go bigger. And we talked about before, right? Go big or go home. Take the 100 million, right? Don't take the
Yeah.
100,000, right?
For real. Yeah. I know. I'll get you that link in a second. Yeah. It's so important. It's so important, man. We could rip on this all day long. I just want to leave, like, I guess, this one surfing, keep catching wave thing with one more point.
Sure.
Somebody told me 4 years ago, that really changed a lot for me in the online marketing space. And you've all heard this before, to publish daily.
Mm,
And publishing day, if you're a blogger, if you're a video person, if you're an audio person, a podcaster, a YouTube, a LinkedIn, or wherever you are, an Instagram, or it doesn't matter, TikTok, whatever your thing is,
right.
get out there and publish daily. Publishing daily is going to do a couple things. It's going to allow you to attract a market and get your voice out there. But more importantly, it's you jumping on a wave every day.
Mm,
And you will learn to surf if you publish daily. If y'all go back to my Facebook account 5, 6 years ago, you'll see me doing that work. And I was horrible, right? It's my version of surfing now. I'm horrible at surfing, but I stay out there,
right.
and you get better and better. And then you find your people, you find your voice, you find your product, you find your service. It all starts coming together. Just stay after it.
Yeah, yeah. I post fitness videos every single day. Today was day 291, I believe. And the consistency, and the reason I do it is I'm not looking for anything but to encourage one person, one, to do
Mm-hmm.
something healthy, to go after their their life, if you will, right? To
Yep.
focus on the beauty that we are given. This body of ours is a gift, right? And if we don't treat it right, if we don't take care of it, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be a long time, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
talked about posting on Facebook, and how you were, treading water, if you will, right? In the beginning,
Yeah.
until you learned how to catch that wave, right? Because in the beginning, you didn't even know how to catch a wave, right? You either had to
Right.
watch someone, or someone had to tell you. And that's why I believe in coaching so much, because to me, that is how to get something done sooner and faster, with
Mm-hmm.
someone who has the knowledge, someone like
Yep.
you, someone who's done it, who's been there. And for me, the reason I started Coaching Call was because there were a lot of sharks that came out in 2020, right? And they were not the good sharks, right? They were not the
Right.
nice calm sharks that you can actually, I've seen people petting sharks and so forth. They were not those sharks. They were the sharks with the big teeth, the ones that were super hungry, and you were the bait. And they were sending 1,000 emails a day, and it was like a lot of them, all they wanted was money, 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 but they had really nothing to show for it. And that's why
Hmm.
I started Coaching Call, because I said, I really want to have real coaches on my show. And when I looked into it, there was no one else doing what I do. And I said, you know what? I did a lot of research before I did my first show, because I wanted to have authentic people on here, right? Unique people who are doing it from a passion,
Yep.
and they failed, but they continued. So they learned from someone else. And I know all the coaches I've ever had on have always had a coach. I have
Mhm.
coaches. I know that you
Yes.
have coaches, right? And how important is that for us, no matter where we go, to still have a coach, right?
Yeah. I have 2 active coaches right now, and
Mm,
I'm always in one mastermind. Um, I don't do individual coaching anymore unless it's a very specific, like my team needs to learn a specific skill set. Can a coach just teaches that one thing?
yeah.
Because you learn faster, grow faster in a group setting. I need the accountability. There's something about us as humans that when we're with like 10 other people who this coach is working with and we're all in the same group, I can show up to my coach and be like, look, dude, I'm sorry. It was busy last week, homework, kids, blah, blah, blah. But when there's a group, I'm like, I'm not showing up and not getting stuff done. No way.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You got to
Yeah,
be accountable, right?
I know. I,
Yeah.
I, I sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise.
Mm,
For me, being part of a mastermind, I think it's such an incredible experience when you are with like-minded people
mm,
going after the same type of goal, or making you grow,
mhm,
because you know I believe in being part of a mastermind is not just there to take notes, but also to impart your knowledge onto that's my belief anyway. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Is to, even though I may not be running that mastermind, I believe that even though I may be paying into it, that my contributions to the mastermind is going to make that mastermind just that much better. What are your
mhm.
thoughts?
I completely agree. Being a participant, I guess I want to come back to just the giving concept here.
Sure.
We here, let me just give my example. In our mastermind, you have to be 3 things to even get a chance to talk to one of our coaches and find out, like, is this right for you? By the way, the website right there at the bottom of the screen is a really clear video walkthrough of exactly what we do and how to get a group coaching or mastermind program going. And it talks about these 3 things. And here they are. You have to be an expert. And I'm going to get to what the question you just asked, like this
Sure.
part of being
Absolutely.
an active part. You have to be an expert. I can't teach you, anybody here watching, I can't teach you how to be the expert you are. You know your level of expertise in an area that I don't know anything about. Like, go be your expert, change the world, help people. Great. You have to be a great communicator. If you don't like communicating, if you really don't enjoy being on camera or on a mic or in front of a classroom or whatever you want to call it, then you're not going to probably not going to like coaching. You're definitely going to not like doing anything scalable, like in a group coaching or mastermind setting, because it's just more of it. Okay.
Mm,
Expert, you got to be a communicator. Third thing, and here's what you're asking about, is the most important thing. You got to be a natural giver to be in any one of our masterminds. I, as a human, as a participant in a mastermind that I'm not the coach of, I have to be a natural giver to go be a good participant in somebody else's mastermind, because masterminds and group coaching programs work because humans are designed, like, we've evolved this way. However you think humans got on the planet, if it was somebody put us here or we just came out of the ooze, whichever way you want to go with that, doesn't matter to me. We're community creatures. We do better when we're in groups. We get we learn 5 times faster, the research shows, and our retention is through the roof on any concept when we learn in group settings versus by ourselves. And that's done not
absolutely.
just because it's not because I'm an awesome coach for my mastermind. It's because the participants in any mastermind are showing up ready
Mhm.
to learn. they've invested time and money, and they know they're doing this with a community and they want to go along with it. That is a different experience. And yeah, I have to show up as a giver to be the best me when I'm a student in a mastermind, like I am right now every year. And I have to make sure that givers are the people who show up in the masterminds that I teach. Many of you can teach or want to teach or can build your own group coaching. Make sure the people who are in there that you're inviting in, that you're getting into your mastermind, are natural givers.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about who would you say, if you had to credit one person to, I get you got the entrepreneurial bug when you were 11, but later on, what made you, who would you say influenced you to go deeper, become more of a coach, become more of a mastermind creator?
I think, and this is going to be an example of a mastermind again, these
Mm,
things have changed my life. It would be Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels.
yeah.
Okay, so here's the story there. I was trying, I ran a digital agency since 2011 or 12, and we do marketing for surgery groups. Okay, we still have that. It's great business.
Mm,
I got that from 16-hour days that I used to work down to an hour or two a week. Still own that
mm,
business and still maybe spend an hour a week in that business. My team, systems, all that stuff, they do a great job.
right.
I'm really good. Like when I was a kid, I was doing lawns and I was hiring friends and teaching them how to do it for me so I wouldn't have to do it, right? That's my
Right.
thing. So I started trying to teach people how I was building a digital marketing agency without spending a lot of time having to do the hustle. And I was trying to sell out in ebooks and e-courses and $47 things that were upselling in a funnel and blah, blah, all the normal things, right?
Yep.
Learn how to build an agency in less time and make more money, whatever.
Mm.
I was horrible at it, dude. I mean, I
Really?
spent 5 years building 5 different versions of all that stuff. And we spent
Mm,
easily $100,000 in staff time and over $100,000 in actual ad costs, just running to funnels, trying things out.
mm,
Finally, I had a few friends who were in this thing called ClickFunnels. Never heard of that before. And so they're like, dude, you got to check this thing out. I'm like, I don't want to be on software. I delegate that to people. They're like, well, at least come check out the community. Ultimately, long story short, I got into one of Russell Brunson's masterminds.
mm,
And I was in Boise, Idaho for our first meeting with some amazing people. I never even met Russell Brunson. I wasn't there for Russell Brunson. Great guy, it seems like. I wasn't why I was there. They were asking at the beginning of the mastermind, how everybody that was new go around and introduce themselves. Told them what I just told you. They said, Chris, how was the mastermind? I said, it's great. Been here 45 minutes. I'm thrilled to be here. I don't even know how to do a ClickFunnels account, guys. Like, I was in that room because I qualified by income and I was in marketing, not because I was a ClickFunnels user.
right.
And they were like, no, Chris, how's your mastermind? It's like, I don't have a mastermind, guys. I'm trying to sell e-courses like all of you, products and stuff on a funnel.
Yeah.
Oh, no, dude. We all started by building a high ticket mastermind. We started at the top, sold 10 people that we could help change their lives. And that gave us our messaging, our marketing sequences, our price points, all the content, everything done. And then we could go resell that in the form of an e-course. And I was like, oh my gosh, 5 years too late. So I would say, to answer your question, Russell Brunson changed so much for me because he put giving experts in the same room with me,
Yeah.
and they changed my life.
That's
And
beautiful.
that is the thing. Like, as leaders and as coaches, I don't believe our highest calling is coaching one person to help them. I
Mm,
believe it's putting leaders together. The highest form of leadership is not leading one person. It's introducing one leader to another leader and letting them create their own big, amazing thing. That's true leadership that has exponential value. And that's what I strive to be. And that's what Russell Brunson has become.
yeah. Oh my God, he is huge, and I love his energy too. You know, he's got amazing energy for sure.
Mhm.
You know?
A cool thing about him, he's not like we all like, he's the highest paid stage speaker in the world. He's got this huge company. He's got all these great things. But when you get him in a room, you're like, this dude's super quiet and
Mm,
he's really chill. And And he's just really good at staying on vision and putting amazing people in the same room.
Mhm.
And he's obviously good at selling from stage and all those things. But he changes more lives, I'm sure, by
Mhm.
putting amazing people in the same room together than ever selling on stage. Because he's putting leaders together who are changing 10 times, 100 times more people than he'll ever touch. And I give him a huge credit for the long-term impact he's going to have on this cool planet by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all started, I remember watching videos of him when he was so raw and so young.
Yeah.
But,
He was publishing every day. He was doing the work,
yeah,
catching the waves, falling all the time.
that was it. He started by treading, right?
Mhm.
Just catching that wave eventually, and then he was able to catch bigger waves, right? So the goal of a surfer is not to catch the small waves, right?
My goal is just not drink salt water constantly.
There you go. I like that.
But yeah, I mean, you're sitting there waiting for you think is going to be the right one coming up. You pass on small ones, waiting for a bigger one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's an opportunity, right? Sometimes you have to pass on certain ones to catch the one that resonates more with you, with your vision, with your literally your vision of what really is going to emulate your growth, what is going to help you propel yourself. Because we all have a purpose. So many people in this world don't realize their purpose because they're not out there treading. They're literally on the sand looking at everybody else going, and they're like,
Yeah.
one day, right?
Hmm. I know one day we let people borrow our boards when we're out at the ocean quite a bit because people walk up like, oh my gosh, this looks so fun. I want to try that. Even just a simple paddleboard. And we're always like, great, throw in a life jacket. It's your first time out there. Like, get out there.
Yeah.
Go do it. Today's your day. Like, go get the bug. Like, have fun. You're
Yeah.
going to figure it out, you know?
That, and that's the giving part that you have, that you allow someone to get on your board, right?
Hmm.
And you push them a little bit. And that's all you can do, right? You can push someone to, like they say, you can bring a horse to water, you can't make it drink, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that happens in coaching, that happens with everybody. So you went to this mastermind, you're sitting with room, and people said, what's your mastermind like? And you go, I don't have one. And so how soon after that event did you say, okay, I need to get on it? How long did it take you? But not, you have two now, right? So how long did it take to even build that first one?
First one was teaching people how to build their digital agencies in a lot less time and increase their profits.
Nice.
I took so that afternoon when we got done with that session, um, 2 or 3 people from that group, again, amazing givers, walked up and said, "Hey, like if you just want to go out to dinner tonight with us, we'll tell you what we did." And so went out to dinner with them. They walked me through the basic bare bones of it, which is basically what I have in that video that's linked to this link you got up here.
Right.
And then the next week I got back in town, back here in Memphis. I reached out to him. I hired 3 of them to take out different parts for me to help me figure out how to do organic lead gen, how to get the sales process right, and how to build my offer. Those are the 3 things I hired. And 7 weeks later, I had my first full mastermind. 7 weeks later.
Wow.
And dude, I'm telling you, 5 years
Yeah.
of work on this thing. And all I needed was to realize I should not be starting at the bottom of the value ladder. Start at the top, sell the top rung of the value ladder, get paid for your expertise. And we've heard this a million times, but it's so true. It's just as hard to sell somebody a $10,000 offer as it is a $100 offer. It's
Right.
true. The buyer is the buyer or it's not the buyer, right? The price is so irrelevant compared to what most people think. Here's the thing. Well, then start at a higher price point so you have the time and resources to invest in that person and actually make a difference.
Right.
Then you will learn a lot, they will learn a lot, and you'll be off to the races.
Yeah. One of the things that, and I've heard other people say it, but I believe it so much, is that, when it's not a high value, people don't really do the work, or they don't really take it on, right? But when people pay the price, they pay attention,
Yeah.
right? And then the higher the value, the more they're going to pay attention.
Hmm.
So you're right with the high ticket item, because all of a sudden it's like, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're basically burning money, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
burn money, people.
Yeah. Don't burn money.
But the thing also, everybody wants something for nothing. And I'm like, wow, would you want to work your tail off and not get paid? Do you want to go to your 40-hour-a-week job, and at the end of the week, your boss says, thanks for coming. See you next week. Where's my paycheck? Oh, no, I thought you were doing this for passion and because you love it. And,
Yeah.
and, don't worry. We'll see you next week. Actually, next week, we're going to work 60 hours.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. On the job interview, you said you were passionate about this. What's happening? I mean, are you passionate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the difference when people look at value, right? Because they're not willing to pay, but they want to get paid. So it's a two-way street when you think about it, right? If you want to earn the money, you have to pay the money, right?
I am so glad you're saying this. So one of the coaches on my team, her name is Brooke. And if somebody wants to talk to Brooke, they're welcome. Like, Brooke is just amazing. She's so good at what she does. She's a mindset coach and a high ticket sales coach. She's closed millions of dollars of deals for high ticket coaching programs, individual and group coaching programs. She's so good at what she does. She says this all the time, and I so respect this opinion. She said, if you're a person who's looking for something for nothing, then you're going to attract people who are looking for something for nothing.
Right.
That's a really big thing to understand. But the flip side of that is, if you're a person who realizes, look, I have to invest in myself to better myself, then you're also a person who's going to be able to sell and communicate that same vibe, that same energy to your market. Because yes, there's a section of each market, like we have these big pie charts of our markets, right? There's a sliver of that pie that wants something for nothing. There's a sliver of the pie that doesn't matter how much it costs, they want the right thing. All right. They're the perfect clients, right? Okay. We all wish we had a bunch of those. They're out there, I promise. The rest of the pie, the 80% of it, is made up of people. They don't want something for nothing. They understand that real things cost money. They just need to find the value that's connected to their budget and make a wise choice. And we have services that fit that 80% and the rest of the pie, but we don't have any services that fit the people who want something for nothing, other than interviews like this, because we can help thousands of people on a show like yours at one time by having an interview. And I'm so hoping this helps people. But if you're actually wanting to work with someone, make a real change and build a coaching program or a group coaching program in our case, you gotta step up, because if you don't, your audience won't. You have to pave the way. When I'm doing mountaineering work and I go with other people who are better than me, always, they're like, picture us on this mountain slope, right? And we're all, anchored into the mountain in some way that's safe and all that stuff. But if I'm trying to get up a steep spot where I'm struggling, I don't need someone below me. That doesn't help me. I'm just going to step on their head. I also don't need someone who's the top of the mountain, the superstar. I need someone who's one step ahead of me to reach back, give me a little advice, or even a hand up to the next spot. I need the person who's one step ahead of me. And that's what you have to be for your audience, everybody. Like, you've got to be that person who's willing to commit to, I want to get to the top of the mountain, so I have to commit to climbing the mountain. That's the investment. You got to do it. And the only way you're going to be able to help the people in your audience is if you're on the mountain, having made the commitment, and then you're able to say, let me help you make the choice I made. And they get to work with you instead of working with me in that case.
Yeah. And there's so much value in everyone on that mountain, right? Because when we think about, and you talked about not stepping on the person's head underneath you, right? But that person, you're valuable to them, right? So you can pour your knowledge onto them. Hey, put your foot over here, let's step over here, watch that over there. And then the person above you is doing the same thing. And then the leader on the top of the mountain has gone through the whole mountain and knows all the ways, so he can guide more people. So when we think about everyone who is climbing the mountain, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has I guess a superpower, if you will, to bring everybody up, right? The guy at the top, he is super happy because he sees his work in
Mhm.
progress, right? And I love that. As a coach, as people who come up the ranks, who people who understand the journey that they're going to be going on, that's the important aspect of everything for me anyways, and I know it is for you, to be able to look back and see the progress that some of the people have made because of your progress, right?
Yep. So true. It's so encouraging to see people actually get results.
Yeah,
That is that is one of the best things about coaching
it
is
is.
you get to actually see it happen. And I love that. I really do.
Yeah. So you created a second mastermind.
Oh,
Why not stick with one?
great question. And it's simple reason. We have 3 different levels of how we do this. I teach 2 of them. Okay.
Mm,
We have an advanced and a pro group that I teach. These are for people who are like, they're ready to rock and roll and they want to jump in. Like, I got to build a freaking mastermind now, or I've already built 1 or 2, but I really need to get this right. It's been a struggle. I get that, right? We've all been there. So I teach the advanced group. Here's how to do this. These are for expert coaches who are rocking and rolling and going. The pro group after that is for people who are like, okay, we've figured this model out now. We've done multiple masterminds and they're making a big sustainable model long term. And that's just for folks who are really going that full on in, like, this is our business model and we're crushing it. That's a really cool group. We hang out weekly and we just crack codes and work together on all kinds of cool projects. All right. Then there's the accelerator. We have this first step. The accelerator is so fun because my coaching staff gets to hang out and work with everybody in there. I get to jump in occasionally too. And it's just like, okay, you want the bare bones, you want to freaking get a group coaching program or mastermind like up in a flash. We just like get right to it, show you how to do it, have workshops, labs, all that kind of stuff.
love
All
it.
of those are super fun, but you can see the reason I am in different spots is
Mhm.
because it's that pie chart again. Each of us are in different places in our progression as an entrepreneur, as a coach, and you got to find a spot that's right for you and your budget, and you got to find the section of the beach that has your size waves, and you got to get in the water.
Yeah,
And our goal is to have this beach that has all different size waves so people can find what's right for them. We got a stack of surfboards, we got a coaching crew out there to make sure you're okay, and we get out there with you in the water.
nice. When we think about getting into hiring a coach, right? Or getting into a mastermind, what are some of the questions that you would say would be important for a novice, somebody who wants to get into either one, either to contact you, of course, and because maybe they've been coaching for a couple of years and they're ready now to create a mastermind, or they've never had coaching before and they've listened to my show and they're like, Raphael speaks about coaching and how important it is. I think I'm ready to get a coach. So what would you say is the advice that you would give someone in either category?
Number one, lean into Raphael. Like, you're listening to this guy talk right now. You've obviously listened to multiple episodes. You trust him. Like,
Mm,
if he's got advice for you, make it, just send him a DM. Ask him what's going on. Ask him your question. Ask him if you need coaching. Ask him if he can help you. That's really like so obvious. It's hard. The hardest thing to do is to learn to trust your coach. If you're already this far into listening to him, you're probably building some trust already. Start there. Okay. That's just number one. Number two, if you're trying to build a group coaching program or mastermind, if me or my team can help you, here's the biggest misconception people have. I've already told you, you got to be an expert. You got to enjoy communicating, and you got to be a natural giver. The biggest misconception people have is that you should have a large audience. And I didn't when I started. I had no audience, actually. And half the people who go through even our advanced group don't have an audience. And the ones who do have large audiences, because they're already super well known or whatever, we teach them to do this without leaning on their existing audience. Because you should not be using your existing audience on your first several mastermind launches. Otherwise, you're going to build something, it will work. You'll send out invitations and people will buy. It's going to be a few of them, but it'll work. And then you won't have figured out how to do it sustainably. So our process teaches someone with an audience or no audience how to build their first, second, and third masterminds from scratch, organically, without paid traffic, because you just need to go out and find the right people. And it's easier than you think to build that offer, invite them to the right space, and deliver life-changing results for a group that's scalable. You can take a 10-person client load down to 1 hour, 2 hours a week just by putting them in a group, and they get results faster. So I would tell people, if that's where you are, put the fears aside for a second, focus on the opportunity, and find out which wave you should be jumping on. You know you're a surfer. You know you want to be out there. Talk to a coach and find out where on the beach you should start. And reach out to us. That's why we have this. Groupcoachnation.com is our website, or right here on the screen, https://leverage.groupcoachnation.com. The reason we put that in there, that's on the screen right now, if you're just listening audio, it's leverage.groupcoachnation.com. Put the https:// in front of it, because it's a private link that we've set up just for this. And we just want to make sure you guys get straight in, watch some information, learn what's going on here with no commitment, and just understand if this is right for you. Oh, I think you're muted, buddy.
I did that because I don't want to interrupt when you were talking.
Oh, dude, man, you're solid. No, that's great. Yeah.
So I love the idea of finding out what it is also that you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what you're able to do and what you're not able to do. And that's why, getting the right person on your team, and a lot of people say, well, how do I build a team? Well, your coach can help you do that. Chris can help you do that. Chris can help you build not only your team, but also, and I love the fact that you talked about don't lean on your audience, because you may only find 10 people, but those are going to be the right 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that, to be a successful coach, I need hundreds and hundreds of people to coach. But like we talked earlier, how many hours are in a day? I try to squeeze 35, sometimes 36 in a day, and that doesn't really work, right? I can't be on the phone with somebody or doing Zoom meetings or whatever with my clients all day long, because then when do I live, right? And you talked about the group coaching, which is a beautiful thing. Instead of spending 10 hours a week, you bring them into a group, and now you have 1 hour that you spend with everybody. And that's a beautiful thing, and we talked earlier about, you want to have people in a group coaching, right? And of course, you're the expert in this, and you can tell us more about it, how each one should be able to share their knowledge, and their knowledge will help the other person, right? And to me, knowledge is great, but applied knowledge, now that's the key, right?
Yeah, that's so true. We all learn a lot. We watch a lot of TikTok, but but do you actually practice the dances very often? Probably not.
No. So thinking about your business model that you are working on now, you have, as an entrepreneur, you have more than one business, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still have your what are businesses that you do have, right?
Just
Because
two.
you have your marketing business, right?
Yeah, just two of them. We have the marketing agency that, again, runs pretty much without me, and the mastermind that most of my time as an entrepreneur, the work time I have in my schedule is spent on Group Coach Nation. I really like it. I really like building something, and I like seeing other people build stuff. So it's very, very fun.
Yeah. And that's the real thing here, right? To get into something that you're going to be passionate about, not something that you're dreading, right? And you said I really like it. And to me, that just shows that like it's not really work for you, is it?
No. I mean, we're sitting here talking about this, an hour's already gone by, and I'm like, dang, it's like so fun. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I could talk about surfing and work at the same time. Why would I not want to do
Exactly.
that?
And I know how valuable your time is, with having 5 kids, and a lot of people realize, yeah, maybe I have a bunch of kids. By the way, I'm number 10 of 12.
No way.
Way. I
Whoa.
personally, if my ex-wife would have allowed it, I would have had 10 myself. I only have 2 with her.
12 kids. That isn't like one more always, I think, scares everybody. Like one more for whatever you have. So yeah, that would scare me. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Congrats to your parents.
Yeah, right. So I was the first one born in the hospital. I don't know if that speaks volumes or doesn't.
That's amazing.
Maybe my siblings are just tougher than I am. They were born at home. But, when we think about creating something, to create something without a purpose, without a reason, just because maybe it's money driven, I don't believe there's a passion in that. Because how many people who have money have no satisfaction? They're not happy, right? They don't have that happy symbol above them, right? And that smile sometimes is so fake. And when we need it to be genuine, right? And I see your smile is genuine because you created something that is helping other people and you're passionate about it. And that's why your energy is amazing. I love it. And think about all the positive that you're doing and you're creating in this world. What would you say is your one takeaway from all that you're doing?
Freedom is the word that comes to mind. I
Mm,
have one tattoo. It's written on the inside of my left arm. It's the word free. I
mm,
I just reminding myself from a previous life that was more bound up in stuff from my past, my choices and other people's choices on me, that put me in prison, so to speak, a life prison, not
mhm,
physical bars, but mental, emotional, and spiritual bars. I just I want to be free, and as an entrepreneur, unfortunately, many of us choose entrepreneurship to find freedom, more time, more money, and it works the exact opposite way. We end up going broke and working way more than ever to do it. But if done correctly and scalably, in a way that you're actually able to do what you love doing and help people you love helping, you can make all the money you need and more. You can do it in a lot less time. And it's not about the money. Money sure does help though.
mm.
And you can make the money, get your time back, and actually find freedom
Yeah.
and get out of the bondage of all of this. And so that's my word is just stay free. If you're
Ah,
not free, call a coach and find a path to freedom.
yeah. That is the key, right? Freedom. To be free to do what you want, also to have that passion to say, you
Yeah.
know what? No. Right? How many times people say yes because they don't have that freedom,
Hmm.
right? So they're
Yeah.
stuck, right?
Mm.
So to get unstuck, call Chris.
I would love to talk to anyone. Yeah, it's so good to see you, man.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
you fans out there, like this guy's the real deal. Lean in, ask him questions. You're in a good spot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So I actually want to add probably a half hour to your day every day, Chris, because I think you need to write a book, my friend.
Oh my gosh, it's in the works, believe it or not. I don't
Yes.
ever talk about this
Awesome.
publicly, so
Good.
there it is. But it is. I actually have a meeting later today, talking to somebody on the book team. So it's in the works. But that's all I will say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to need a copy when that comes out,
Can't
definitely.
wait.
Um, you know, I know you're busy and you got to go, but
I got
what
about
would
30
you
seconds. Yeah.
say is your one word or one word of advice, I should say, that you would give anybody at this point?
Okay, super easy. And I literally have 30 seconds. So let's wrap it up with this. Do work, get results. Just do the right work. You're all hard workers. If you weren't, you wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't be trying to do things. It's not that you're not a hard worker, you're not dedicated, or you're not doing work, or you just haven't seen the right way to do it. So find the coach that has the path in front of you, reach out to that team, do the work, get the results. Just do the right work.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, my friend. Thank you. You have an amazing rest of your day.
Great to see everybody. Y'all have a good one.
All right, take care.